just to the algorithm. They had to post X amount of times to get engagement, or they had their Facebook group or their Facebook page. But now we
Hashtags too.
now we have the whole scenario that's taking place with the short form content. And short form content just allows you to go viral in a way that isn't, common. So people are just able to create content and then eventually monetize that through building a community. You can do that. You can, once again, build an Amazon store. You can build a Shopify store, sell quality products. It really depends. And you can even do services. So there's a lot of people, you see fitness coaches, you see people that are consultants, and they monetize through selling a service online. So taking anything that's happening physically and selling it digitally, instead of having a retail store that sells clothing in the corner of a city, you basically just build an online store and you market. Why? Because there's more foot traffic, and the traffic is 24/7.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's the difference, is you're not limited by COVID, right? So if you get shut down, a lot of businesses went bust.
Yep.
Why? Because there was no foot traffic. There was too many regulations, too many rules. So now people are able to build businesses online. So I really think there's a plethora of places where you can make money. But there's three niches. There's physical products, there's digital products, and then you have services. So digital products, so you can have info products. Right now we saw big plagiarism take place with the president of Harvard and a lot of highly reputable institutions. They were running a lot of their PhD dissertations through AI, and they found a lot of plagiarism from a lot of these individuals. So a lot of these big institutions where we thought, hey, you can go and learn from these centralized institutions and get your degree and then get a job, people are realizing that it's not really all that. So there's a lot of info products taking place online, which I fully support. You have physical products, the selling of goods, and then you have services, people selling marketing services. You have people advertising on a Google ad, their plumbing service, their electrical services, whatever it may be. But the internet is here to stay, and the ability to be open 24/7 is what absolutely revolutionized everything.
Yeah, and I think COVID made that even more important. And I would say, I was thinking about this as I was walking through the mall a couple of days ago. The taco spot, that's pretty.
You walked through the mall?
Yeah, I walked through there to get to Tacoology.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't buy it.
That's a rare sighting.
But the point I'm trying to think is, I was like, in 20 years, I think brick and mortar stores are going to be pretty much gone in the next 20 years. I think everyone is, if you're not online, you're going to die is what I think. Cause like I'm looking at these stores, there's no one in them. You know what I mean? People are there maybe to take pictures or window shopping or whatever, but these stores are fucking empty, especially the higher end ones. They're always empty. You know what I mean? And it's like one employee in there. Like, how long can you sustain paying employees, keeping the lights on, paying the rent in one of these like lavish areas?
Premium real estate.
Premium real estate, right? Because you're going to be paying 20, 30K at least a month. Do you even make that much in revenue? Like, honestly, to cover those costs? So it's like, in my head, it's like the only logical way to go from this point forward is to go online, especially to compete with places like Amazon or Shopify or whatever it may be, where it's open 24/7. Gymshark started as an online store. I remember back when they started in 2011, 2012, etc. Hell, Ziz was one of their first athletes that they had, and they were online only, and they didn't open their first store until they had, obviously made a certain amount of sales and they had a certain brand reputation. Then they opened up their first store. Alpha Lee followed suit, right? They're like, hey, they did pretty well online. We got a presence. Christian Guzman, right? We did an interview with him.
Yeah.
And I think they made like 90 million or 100 million in revenue, right? So they're about 1/4 that of Gymshark, but they got in the game later. But it's like online is the way to go. And then you can kind of backward manufacture it, where if you do well online, then open up a brick and mortar store in locations where there's a demand. But I think the old business model of opening up a brick and mortar store, kind of seeing how it goes, and then opening up an online store isn't the way to go anymore.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree, because you have proof of concept.
Yeah.
Online, you have the ability to test so many different alternatives, so many different businesses, so many different niches till you find what works for you. You don't have to commit to that one business, put up that money, front that money. You don't have that risk. You can test it. You can find your winning audience. You can build a couple social media pages and kind of figure it out. And eventually
see where they're all concentrated.
Exactly.
And Gymshark, for them, they found out, wow, most of our sales come from London. We're going to put our first store in London. Boom. And then they're able to kind of, because they have all that data where they can like make an educated guess and decide where they're going to open up their first brick and mortar store.
And you mentioned fitness people as well. I have friends in the industry, Brandon Carter, my boy Hakeem, where they started training people, in person, but it was time consuming, they couldn't really scale. They went online, multiple people at one time from one Zoom call, multiple customers, and you have scale now.
Yes.
It's a big help.
And you can charge them less.
He bought a Lamborghini cash from his digital money. So
Yeah.
there you go.
So so you said you started your first. So you were waiting tables, then you did marketing, and then you started your first e-com store. What were you selling at that e-com store?
I was selling household goods. So
Oh, shit.
that's what I would sell because it's something that people would need 24/7. So I was like, what is an evergreen product that everybody needs? So instead of
Like
finding
spatulas and stuff like that? Or?
soaps, anything that you would buy and have in your house. So soaps, laundry detergents, sponges, the shit that people would actually need 24/7, I would just find alternative ways to sell it. So instead of people going to Walmart, they would just buy from me. So I would just build little small online shops and sell different products in the household niche because it's evergreen. So
Were
I
you
don't
selling it on Amazon? Were you
Shopify.
Oh, you were selling them on Shopify.
So you would
Okay.
just figure out how to arbitrage those and how to add a good narrative, a good spin to it, and it worked. I did about $16 million in revenue selling household goods because it's something that
shit.
people need all the time. I didn't have to find a way to
Over
sell.
how long of a time span?
3 years.
You did 3 years.
Yeah,
Wow. So
3
you were
years.
making like $7 million a year, like not even.
No,
like,
my
6?
first 2 years, I didn't do really good in my first 2 years. It really took off during COVID. During COVID, it absolutely exploded because people couldn't go to the store.
Yeah.
What
And my-
products?
So yeah, household goods. So you would have your soaps, you would have your laundry detergents, and you would have kind of like your sanitation products.
Oh, that
Yeah.
probably went
That makes
crazy.
sense.
It went super crazy.
During
Yeah.
COVID, yeah.
And what took place was people began to absolutely price gouge on Amazon, for example, would be like your hand sanitizers and things of this
masks,
product.
that type of crap.
Yeah. So what happened is Facebook banned advertising these products. So what did I do? I said, well, let me switch the narrative and start taking these products and advertising it as pet products. So now I said these are sanitation products for your pets, which kind of circumvented the policy, and I just scaled it that way.
Okay, so you made in the first 2 years, how much would you say you made?
About probably 3 mil in sales.
You made 3 mil, and
Yeah.
then the other 13 mil
It
came.
just took off in
the last
a year. Took off in
Wow.
1 year.
Okay, and so you made all that money, and then you took it and you just put it into Bitcoin. Or
Put it
not
into
Bitcoin, but crypto.
Yeah, put it into
crypto.
crypto. I had a famous play. It was a token called Pancake Swap. I have it tattooed on the back of my neck.
Okay.
Which was in 2019, a new meta or new narrative came into crypto, which was called DeFi, decentralized finance, where you basically don't have to go through a centralized exchange or you don't have to KYC. It's platforms that are built on layer 1s or layer 2s, the likes of Ethereum. You would build products on top of that. And there was something called Uniswap, which people use it nowadays to trade. It came out in 2019. I said, this is really interesting. In 2020, CZ from Binance launched a chain called the BNB chain, the Binance Smart Chain, and he had a token, the BNB token. And the first platform that was a DeFi platform on the BNB chain, on the Binance Smart Chain, was on the BSC chain, was PancakeSwap. I bought 1% of the supply when it was $25 million market cap, put $250,000 in, it went to 2.6 billion. So
wow.
it was almost 100x.
So you put 250K in,
Yeah.
and holy shit.
It was
And
1% of the supply.
Okay, and then how much did you make off that 250K?
5.5 mil.
You made 5.5 mil.
5.5 mil.
Off
Because
a
I was like
$250,000
slowly
investment.
scaling out. I didn't sell the top. I'm not a legend like that, but I wish
Yeah.
I would have held it a little bit longer. But I sold it. I had one of the founders of FaZe Clan hit me up and he's like, "Hey, what do you think about SafeMoon? I don't know if you guys remember the SafeMoon. There's a SafeMoon
it
project."
went bust.
So it went bust, and I was like, okay, all these guys that don't know anything about crypto, I gotta sell, right? Because they were there. So it was a little bit early, but the entire shitcoin ecosystem was birthed from there. So I was a little bit early on the trend and did extremely well.
Nice. So you put a quarter million, able to cash out 5.5 million.
Yeah.
And then wow. And then so you only so you had made 13 mil, and you only
In
put-
revenue.
In revenue. Okay, that didn't account for because you obviously have to buy product.
You have your
manage your
byproducts.
store,
Yeah.
And did you have like a fulfillment shop and everything else like that?
Well,
a
it was
warehouse
drop shipping. It was drop shipping. So
Oh.
what I did is I would arbitrage it.
Yeah.
So I would pay for the ads up front.
Yeah.
People would buy the products, and I would have my difference.
Oh,
and
yeah, you
off
were
of
running
the
ads.
and
Okay.
off of the difference, I would buy the supply and then ship it. And it was pretty good because then I would just order in bulk once you know the product is tested, ship it to the U.S., hold it there. For example, like in February, the Chinese New Year rolls around, so all the manufacturers are closed, so you have to order inventory ahead of time.
Mm.
And then once you're scaling, drop shipping no longer works because the factory has to keep up.
Yeah.
That doesn't really work. So if you're scaling, I think our best month was almost $2 million. You need a lot of inventory ahead of time. You can't really drop ship that way.
Of course.
It worked extremely well, and
How much would you say you? So you grossed 13 million over 3 years, which is fantastic. And then what would you say you like? What were you? You
probably
actually
40%.
You profited 40.
Probably 40%.
Okay, so like maybe
3.5,
Yeah.
4, something along that line. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
The bulk of the money came in crypto and investing and
Gotcha.
and
So you took that
multiplying
money
it.
and you invested it in
All
into
of it, because
crypto.
it was the plan, dude. Because I was part of the 2017, 2018 bull run. I had a couple, tens of thousands of dollars. I did 160x in the 2017, 2018 bull run.
So you believed in it.
I believe. Well, I was in it.
Yeah,
I was
you
in
were in
it.
it for real.
I was in it. And the thing that people don't seem to understand about crypto is that it's here to stay. It's
Agreed.
literally here to stay, because if you right now
Bill,
you
I
can,
just sent you a tweet on Telegram, by the way. Pull it up real quick.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah,
you can
continue.
literally right now go on your phone, download any of these DeFi wallets, Backpack, Phantom, and within a couple minutes, anybody can be transacting in the financial system. You don't have to KYC. You don't have to submit your ID. You don't have to wait for somebody to give you approval.
Yeah, Swift
And
codes and also the
None
bullshit.
of this bullshit, dude.
Yeah.
Within 10 minutes, within 2 minutes, you have a USDT address. I can send you $100,000 without a middleman.
Yeah,
That's absolutely phenomenal. It's unprecedented ever in history. And people are turning to that because they realize that the middleman is simply trying to control the narrative, not trying to
100%.
protect you.
Yep. The banks. So actually, matter of fact, I found this very interesting. Edward Snowden tweeted this today. He goes, prediction: a national government will be revealed this year to have been buying Bitcoin, the modern replacement for monetary gold, without having disclosed that fact publicly. And I find this very interesting as well, because we know that a lot of these big banks that have always said, "Oh, crypto is a lie, it's a scam." The JP Morgans, the Goldman Sachs, all these guys that have always been like anti-cryptocurrency, right? That tell you, go ahead and invest in S&P 500. They give you that traditional bullshit financial advice. They've been buying crypto. They won't tell you that they've been buying crypto,
The whole
but they've
time.
been buying it the whole time.
Yeah.
If you can pull up Luke Belmar Medium Predictions 2024, actually predicted that governments would actually start beginning to add Bitcoin to their balance sheet because it's a safe haven.
Yeah.
Because what if you are El Salvador? What if you are Argentina? What if you are some European country that is still bound to the monetary policy of the United States? You have no control when the US dollar is going to print more money, or when the Fed's going to print more money, when they're going to print more US dollars. So you need to find safe havens. Treasury bills are no longer really a safe haven. So you need to be in a situation where you kind of begin to limit the exposure that you have to the policy of, or the bad policy of governments.